The following is brought to you by paulakers.net.
Tour is very special to me because Nick Cosell is a very, very dear friend of mine. We motorcycle ride together. We've been doing a lot of stuff, a lot of trips. And I've been to Walters & Wolf many, many times to many of their locations. And it's an awesome company, very complex, very difficult work they do. And Nick embraced 2-second lean and the Toyota production system a little while ago. And I'm going to let Nick tell you the rest of the story. So Nick, it's all yours.
Hey, thanks, Paul. My name is Nick Cosell, as Paul said, president of Walters & Wolf. Really appreciate, we're honored that Paul and Richard have asked us to participate in these tours. So I'm going to have Richard cue up a real quick 40-second video to kind of just share with everybody, who we are, what we do. So, and then we'll get on to the good stuff and talk about how we're applying the Toyota production system at our company. Richard, if you could cue up that video, please. Manufacturer and installer of exterior commercial building enclosures. We do interior doors, frames, and hardware. We do precast concrete, glass fiberglass, reinforced concrete. We're a basically concept to completion subcontractor. Everything that you'd need for the exterior enclosure of your building. Serving the West Coast from 5 production facilities. And now, on to the fun stuff. How we're applying the Toyota production system at our company. We get asked all the time, how did we start, lean or applying lean in our company? So in the beginning of 2012, our leadership came back from one of our usual quarterly offsites. And we talked a lot about, why is it taking so long for us to improve things? And so we got very curious, there's got to be a better way. So we started doing some research, started looking around. We ended up, several of us sitting around watching this lean thing. It was the lean fast cap style video from, that Paul did. So we got Paul's book, 2-Second Lean. We all read it and we just were like super curious going, can it really be this simple? Definitely not easy, but this simple to get our employees engaged and have them making the improvements, which would make a lot more sense rather than us, as we learned, pushing the improvements onto them instead, asking them for their ideas. So the leadership team first for the rest of the year did a bunch of research. We read the 2-Second Lean book, and on the back, Paul had his phone number. We called him. Lo and behold, Paul answered, invited us up for a tour. Over the rest of the year, we toured FastCap several times, cost tailored. And we were lucky enough to go to Japan with Paul and Norman Bodek. And so basically by the end of the year, the managers had done a bunch of improvement videos themselves. We read a bunch of books, did book distinctions, and decided to commit, full send on, applying the Toyota production system in our company.
Nick, I have one question for you to answer. You coined the phrase, lean is simple, but not easy. Can you just quickly explain why you say that?
When we, committed and started going, like I said, full send into the Toyota production system, the concepts and the construct and everything it's pretty simple to understand. And, the more that you're practicing, the more you're learning, you just start getting a deeper understanding. But actually doing it and, getting, everyone trained, everybody participating, everyone working on it's like a second full-time job to what we were already doing. We soon discovered that we were working on a lot of things that were pretty much 100% waste, and we could convert. Use all that time to, do the improvements. Simple but not easy. So.
Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, yeah. Continue.
So I'm gonna turn this over to our ETC team. That stands for Expand the Circle. This is a group of emerging young leaders here at Walters & Wolf, and they're going to share with you, how our unique methods for applying the Toyota production system to our company. So I hope you all find this useful. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Miranda.
All right. Thank you, Nick. My name is Miranda. I'm project manager here at Walters & Wolf, and I will be discussing how we grow our people here at Walters & Wolf. So a major part of who we are here at Walters and Wolf is our lean culture, which is pretty apparent from day one as a new employee. We focus on growing our people right off the bat. So you get thrown into a 14-week lean course, and it's taught by a member of our upper management team, which is awesome. We believe in continuous improvement here and training the eye to spot the eight wastes in everyday operations. So therefore, being taught to fix what bugs you by a team member of our upper management not only gives employees the itch to make improvements immediately, but also creates a higher level of comfort when discussing issues that can be fixed. The main literature you can see on my screen is our 2-Second Lean book by Paul Akers. And I wanted to show you also an agenda from our first lean class. So one thing to mention on our agenda that we do to reduce waste and allow people to enjoy reading through these books is we provide all the links here that are provided in Paul Akers' 2-Second Lean book. There's lots of visuals that you can access through a QR code, but instead we just put them on the agenda so that you can look at them on your computer while you read the book and start with some of your lean homework. So in addition, we each week, all members of the class will read a few chapters and provide 2 distinctions. Oops. Let's see. So a distinction is a sentence taken directly from the book, which is related directly back to how it can be applied at Walters and Wolf, as well as the value that it brings to the company. So you can see one on my screen. So the distinction was taken directly from the 2-Second Lean book. A lean culture is a generous environment. It's generous in giving credit to others, generous in respect, generous in offering ideas, support, and help. And so how this could be applied at Walters and Wolf, treating everyone around you with the utmost respect, leaving areas better than how you found them, giving credit when credit is due, and always looking for ways to improve the company. And then how we can apply value, or how it brings value to Walters and Wolf, is by holding ourselves to the above values. We are creating an atmosphere where it's enjoyable to come to work. And when employees feel recognized for what they have done and genuinely respected, it keeps them motivated to perform their best. And so each individual will give 2 distinctions per week. We read them as a group and get everyone else's perspective. And it's really awesome when you first start to have this opportunity to think of the company that way. In addition, we also have about 7,000 improvement videos on our YouTube channel, which are created by various members of the company. And in this 2-Second Lean class, everybody starts off with creating a video. So kind of kicks off that feeling of fixing what bugs you. And then the last thing that we do in our lean class is everybody does an improvement project, which can be really fun because the individuals in the class are picking a project as a group. So when I was in my lean class a few years ago, we had an excess inventory of glass samples in the project management department. It looked a mess. It was a disaster. So rather than the PM's order, the problem was we were ordering samples to give to our customer, and we were also ordering samples to be tested, which the testing has to happen on every single job. But the test facility isn't local, so we were shipping them ourselves. So to reduce the excess inventory, we order samples that we drop off at our customers, and now we also order samples that get shipped directly to the testing facility out of state. And now we have very few glass samples looking crazy all over our department. So it's been a really awesome improvement. And that being said, I am going to pass it off to Nicole. She's going to talk about our, go ahead.
Miranda, one thing, first of all, you did an incredible job. And I get asked all the time for people who can speak on lean. I think I'm going to choose you next time. That was so well done. You've got it together. Well done.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to pass it off to Nicole, and she's going to talk about our lean posters.
All right, thank you, Miranda. So another really great tool that we have at Walters and Wolf is what we refer to as our lean journey posters. So they're right behind me. There's 2 of them currently. The thought behind these posters is to make our quest super visual. So by making these huge, everybody in the company can see kind of where we're trying to go in the future. So how we put these together is our management team, they get together, they brainstorm ideas of where we're at today as a company and where we want to be in the next 5 years. So this first one over here, it was made in 2012. So if you take a look up top, we kind of got our start with lean with Paul Akers and fixing what bugs you. Miranda made mention to the video. So at the time we had 1,500 videos. I believe it's over like 7,000 now. And walking down the path, we have just different areas we're trying to work on. So continuous improvement, respect for people. We have the tools we're trying to work on here. And then we have all these different pillars, which represented all of our different departments. And at the time we were very, very departmentalized, and we wanted to make a conscious effort to be one unified company. So that's what we were working towards. We were working towards breaking down department walls. Up here on this poster, we have our lean Kaizen house standing on our 2 pillars: respect for people and continuous improvement. And then one of the things we really wanted to work on was having the passion to be the best and providing the highest value to our customers, and our customers being our internal and external customers. And then down here in the corner is just the 8 wastes, which I'm sure everybody is super familiar with, but just as a reminder, the 8 wastes were on this first poster. So that one was made in 2012, ran through about 2016, and then moving on to the next one, this was our vision through 2020, so we're a little outdated now. But you can see up here, we had Brad Schmidt. Paul Akers actually helped us get connected with Brad, and he came in and kind of taught us like about Kaizen and how to run Kaizen events. So moving down the stream here, you can see our goal was to get to over 5,000 improvement videos, which we accomplished, which is great. We really wanted to put a focus on banishing sloppiness. And then you can see here, we were really focused on our mini Kaizen effort, and I'm not going to get too far into that because our next segment with Pedro is going to talk about that. Then we have quality. We were focused on quality people, quality leadership, quality life. And then my last little favorite part of this poster is our little guy right here. He's drowning in his own ego. So just like a reminder, like just be humble, because ego can drown you. So the last thing I really want to touch on the journey posters is we have these 2. The really cool part was actually 3 weeks ago, our Expanding the Circle team got together with the same artist that drew these first 2, and we came up with our 3rd one. So we're really looking forward to rolling that out to the team. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Pedro.
Nicole, again, that was incredible. And I'm just going to say, now I have a second speaker too, can take my place. Well done.
Nicole, just before you go, one of our guests has asked if they could get a PDF copy of these. Do you actually have them?
We do have them in PDF.
Oh, yeah.
We can definitely share those with you guys after.
Okay, that'd be great.
That's hanging in my conference room, just so you know. Nick gave that to me and I printed it in a huge thing and framed it. Yeah, it's in my conference room. So you guys are amazing. And one other last comment, banish sloppiness. When I developed that whole thing and started to develop the talk for that, I told Nick about it. Nick said, why don't you come down tomorrow? I'm in Washington. He's in Fremont, California. I flew down the next day and then flew to Australia the next day. That's how focused Walters and Wolf is on training his people. I flew down there, trained their senior leadership team on banishing sloppiness with 1 day notice. Nick said, just come on down tomorrow. And I just did it just like that. And they wanted to learn that much.
Incredible. Fantastic. Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole. So as Miranda mentioned, fixing what bugs us, 2-second lean. Everyone in our company has read the book. So we're all exposed to fixing what bugs us. But sometimes it goes beyond just your individual process at your individual workstation, and it's probably something that's a little bit more involved. Maybe it's a process that involves multiple people down in our value stream. And at that time is when we get together and we get a Kaizen going and we form a Kaizen around that. Other times, maybe we've had a significant defect along our process and identified that, got down to the root cause, figured out kind of why such event happened. And then that also gets added to our Kaizen queue where we put together Kaizen. Putting together Kaizens, sometimes those are announced through our weekly waterfall. Our weekly waterfall is a publication that we do in-house through our internal website. So the invitation is open to all our coworkers, all our team members. We want to get team members from all different departments because sometimes the best ideas are coming from those that are not actively involved in the process that we're trying to improve. And then, so that's when we seek out the participation from everyone. At that point, we get together a team. And one of the best things that we're doing and one of the most fun things we do is create our current state process map. So in yellow, we'll identify the step from beginning to end. And below that, we're identifying obstacles, defects, and pinks. And we're identifying possible solutions and improvements, opportunities to improve the process in blue. If it's something that we can't tackle in that Kaizen, maybe it's a process that's a little bit more involved, that would get added to our Kaizen queue. But during the Kaizen, we're going to develop a future state map with as many blues implemented and as many of the pinks removed. So the output from that typically becomes a defined standard process. For us, we call these SWISs, standard work instruction sheets.
And what's a typical process that you applied this to, Pedro?
It's everything that's a process in our company. So from pre-construction, maybe there's a better way that we can do our proposals. Maybe it's into our engineering group, how we review specifications, anything that we can improve. And if it's very involved, we can get a Kaizen going for that.
I'm curious about how many Kaizens you guys think you've done so far? I know you've done 7,000 videos. How many Kaizens have you done? Any idea? I know it's a tough question.
500 Swisses.
Yeah, we have over 500 Swisses, so at least
probably 500. Wow,
yeah.
That's amazing. And a typical number of people that are involved in a Kaizen, anywhere from 1 person to 100 people. How many people?
6 to 10. Yeah.
6 to 10. Okay, good.
So once we have the Swiss done, we announce that again through our weekly waterfall. And then we have our training sessions. So the weekly waterfall is also read at a department level. So if it's a Swiss that's applicable to that team, we're going to go through our Swiss, which Michael is going to show us in a little bit. He's going to go a little bit more in depth, but we'll go through every step of that Swiss in depth. And there's a lot of links and resources in that Swiss to kind of follow that process. So the Swiss is out to the teams. We've practiced the Swiss. Then we're going to go into our PDCA cycle. So plan, do, check, adjust. And during that, once we've had it going for a few, we're going to get together and we're going to see how the plan's doing. We're going to check it. If it needs adjustment, we're going to adjust it, revise the Swiss, re-share it again with the teams. And that cycle is just never ending. We keep that going. And the PDCA cycle can vary for us. There are processes that aren't very repetitive. We see some activities not so often. So depending on the process, maybe we schedule PDCAs a month out or every 3 months after that.
Okay.
Pedro,
excellent.
Quick question. Facilitating these Kaizens is quite a tough job. How do you do that? Do you rotate the facilitators or do you have a team of facilitators?
Right now, our senior leadership is mentoring us and guiding us through that. And now with our expanding the circle team, we're also being part of that training group. So adding more team members to our facilitators there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Mike, and then he's going to talk a little bit more in depth as how we apply and use our Swisses.
Okay. Hey, Mike.
Hi. Thank you, Pedro. I'll talk briefly on how Lean has transformed project management. There are a great many tasks that need to be done between project kickoff and completion, and most of the processes to complete these tasks were based on tribal knowledge. New project managers were trained by more senior PMs, and as typical, different PMs did things differently. So there were relatively few standards and thus no standard for which to improve. And since implementing Lean, Walters and Wolf has worked hard to develop these standards throughout the project lifecycle. Through many Kaizens, we've built those standard operating procedures, developing a baseline for which to improve upon. And so now we have standards for many steps of the job, Swisses that Pedro mentioned that can be easily located and accessed on our internal portal, which you should be seeing now. So this is what it looks like. As we mentioned before, we got over 500 Swisses already loaded onto here. You can filter by department, sort by department, date, description, and search by keyword. So we'll just do a quick example. So by department, I'll just go to PMs and then by date. So let's look for something kind of more recent. And as you can see, just for the PMs, we have 120 Swisses uploaded on here. So we'll just quickly look at like our visual mock-up Swiss, which is right here. So you have all the steps that we have for that. And We have embedded resources in a lot of our Swisses that need them. So anything from how-to videos to just documents, pictures, checklists. And numerous Swisses are also interconnected, one referencing another. As they're used, more improvements are identified through the PDCA process, which Pedro mentioned. And by using the people who are doing the work, also making the improvements, it promotes pride and ownership in each position. For project managers, another way the Swiss are referenced is in the job schedules. So each job has its own schedule, which we create in Microsoft Project. And the schedule line item is the trigger for the task, and the embedded link provides the standard procedure for completing the task.
Wow.
Over here. And so
show me where that is, Michael. So if you click on it, where's the Swiss?
So I'm going to click on that here. So it should come up. Since these aren't tasks that we do every day, these links are great resources at the click of a button.
Wow, that's incredible.
So less tasks are forgotten. Tasks are completed at the correct times for the job to remain on schedule. And with tasks being completed on time, there's more evenness to the job and less defects as it flows through the life cycle.
Michael,
I have a question for you. Yeah,
yes,
I have a question. Go ahead, Richard. Richard, you go.
I was going to say, Michael, you've also got links in there to any forms as well, so they can click on that and bring up the form straight away as well.
Right. Yeah. So we have the embedded resources in each of these different Swisses. So that makes it easy.
That's
so now,
perfect.
Instead of training new project managers with tribal knowledge, Walters and Wolf has a standard processes that can easily be found and followed to provide consistent product quality, information, and value to our customers.
So, Michael, what do you think the number one benefit is from the Swisses? Is it improved quality? Is it reduced ambiguity? Is it people not wandering around asking how to do this? What do you think the number one benefit you gain from this activity?
I think it's different for the different departments. So I think for,
what's your impression?
For project management, I think like what you had said, like reducing ambiguity. So we know definitely for new project managers, knowing what to do next, how to do it the best way possible.
So reduce training time.
I'm sorry?
Reduce training time.
Yes.
I mean, it's not difficult to train people because the information is readily available to everyone.
Correct.
Okay, good.
And one more thing as well. This is a really great example of saying wherever the question is asked, the answer should be. Exactly. So you get to the next stage of that project, and what have I got to do next? You click on that Swiss, and wow, it's there. It's perfect.
Very good.
Yes, that's a great point, Richard.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Next, we'll continue our journey into the shop with Jose.
Great job, Michael. Great job, Pedro. Let's go.
Thank you.
Rock and roll.
Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jose Gonzalez. I'm a shop supervisor here at Walters and Wolf Fremont location. And I'll be going through our shop and the great benefits that we've had since we've started practicing lean. A few of our areas, we have our standard work instruction part where we Kaizen our workstation. We have posted our SOPs of those appropriate work areas. And then over to our assembly board, one of our Kaizens that we've had where we learn how to implement cycle and takt to our workday. Imagine before this Kaizen, we only had about a half of the amount of workstations. We were going off of feelings versus facts. Once we had this Kaizen that we implemented cycle and takt, we were able to put a timer to it where we learned the different tasks, what it took, so we could be more predictable. Before this Kaizen, our daily output was varying about 20%. We were getting anywhere from 18 to 20 windows. After implementing this Kaizen, where we have our daily goal for this project is 25 units. We're able to sustain our daily output, be more predictable on the schedule, and the field would know how much completion we're at. If we pan over to our other side of our shop as well, another Kaizen that we implemented recently that we reported out to upper management was where we incorporated our fabrication area. I want to paint you guys a picture. You see the 4-3 racks? We used to have about 50 daily racks moving, congesting our areas. Fabrication and assembly was divided by those racks of daily fabrication. Now with this Kaizen that we just finalized, we had our in-house maintenance adjust our machinery to allow for our flow into fabrication to assembly B1. So we merge fabrication area of the shop into our assembly. In the far back there, you'll see our cycle clock. We've rotated 8 times in the start of our shift. We're running a 17-minute takt time.
So how many stations are in your line right now?
Right now, to make a 17-minute takt, we have 12 stations.
So if you've got a 17-minute takt time, does that mean you've balanced the work content in each of those stations to be within 17 minutes?
Exactly. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You're
okay. Cool. Thank you.
Before lean, again, standardizing our procedures. Everything was taught by memory, and from one individual to the other, it could vary. So standardizing our processes allowed for the quality to sustain the training of our new employees. Yes, the ease of before then having only 6 stations, a new employee had to learn more that first week or that first day. So by elongating our assembly process, it allowed for as well ease of training.
Wow, I'm blown away. Just fantastic work.
We'll head over towards our packaging area where another Kaizen group has developed some amazing stuff. We could have more reusable products.
And just so you know, everyone, who's ever doing the camera work is doing a great job, great improvement in every station. The camera work's very, very good. Thank you.
So what we have in front of us is what we call our traditional packaging of our unit, which just consists of a wood pallet, a lot of styrofoam, more wood crimping, and it's only typically a one-time use, so it's not so cost effective. And then we could only package or ship 15 of these units on a trailer bed, where our other Kaizen group has developed more reusable products, where it's as well as it's taken more components, where we were able to design these reusable products to allow for the packaging of our units to reuse the product. And then over towards the other side, once the sealant has cured on our windows, within the next day, we go on edge so we can maximize what goes on our trailer, from 15 units on conventional to 30 units on a truckload.
Wow.
That is a great improvement, especially at the current times with the cost of material and gas. It just saves a substantial cost there up.
Reduce transportation.
Correct.
Yep. And reduce waste. Yep.
Yeah, fantastic.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a big improvement here.
Awesome.
With that said, I'll turn it over to Tim over in our field.
All right. Thank you. Great job, Jose. All right.
All right.
Wow. How seamless is this? This is really well done, you guys. Walters and Wolf, you guys are killing it. Go ahead, Tim.
Thank you, Paul. So this is Jake. We're at the Mission Rock project here in Northern California. So we want to give you a little view of that before we jump into it. So what I wanted to talk about is how lean has helped us understand the importance of getting quality at the source, utilizing employee genius, and then of course, how we can improve our safety. So what I wanted to start with is showing you our JPS, which is our job planning system. This starts in pre-construction with Tim and myself as an example, getting together. We developed this unit install plan before we even are awarded a project to try and get an understanding of what and how we're going to install, where we're going to have our material stage. So what we're looking at here is a little diagram showing where our units are going to sit on the floor. So we're on the second floor. This is that opening that you guys were just looking at a minute ago. So we're seeing very early on, we developed this probably 1.5 years ago to determine how we're going to lay things out. So that's how we get started with our unit install plan. And then that kind of morphs into our install duration plan. So Again, you can see these green boxes are kind of what we would call like leave out bays. That's the opening that Tim was showing you at the very beginning. So what this is showing us is when we're going to do a task, what kind of manpower it's going to take, what kind of equipment it's going to take. So that kind of goes to that. So let's go north elevation there again in green is that leave out bay you were looking at. So we'll be setting that soon. You can see we'll just reference this and we'll know everything we need for that.
Jake.
Yep.
Why was it necessary for you to do all these improvements? What was a big benefit?
We found if we're starting to pre-plan a little bit better, what we can avoid is the waste of waiting and motion. If we got to relocate to a different area because we don't have the tools that we need, there's enormous amounts of waste in that, especially when you deal with equipment. So that's where I was going next. You know, if we have equipment in the wrong place or equipment that can't be supported by the current slab, we can get ourselves in trouble with that. Lots of waste involved. So. Does that answer your question?
This may be, yeah, this kind of goes back to what Nick said. We found there were things that we were doing that were 100% waste. So this is identifying those things of equipment being in the wrong place at the wrong time, resources being allocated incorrectly.
Spot on, 100% waste when you got a crew of 8 waiting for a piece of equipment to be moved over to the right spot. So.
Excellent, perfect. That's what I want to know. Excellent.
So again, this is what I was kind of referring to. This is the equipment product data. So we're making sure this gets to the customer early on. We're getting with the engineer of record to make sure the current slab can take the loads of our equipment so we can have the right equipment. And if not, we can kind of readjust our plan.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Incredible.
It is incredible, yeah.
So we started developing that just as a means to figure out our install a little bit better. And then our safety guy got his hands on it and said, hey, I really like that. I think I can do the same for safety. So that kind of gets morphed into our safety plan once we're awarded the project. And you can see again, we're looking at those leave out bays again, which shows you, hey, we're going to need this certain type of safety equipment in these locations. We'll need barriers and tiebacks, and we'll need our 15-foot clear zone. So we're able to identify this really early on, again, just avoiding any waste of waiting on the right equipment or safety.
Jake, what it seems like to me is that the whole lean effort that you guys have done has got people engaged at all levels of the company, realizing this vast benefit of this, reducing the ambiguity and clarity on every stage and every aspect. It seems to be getting everybody involved. It almost appears from what you're saying.
Yep, I would agree with that. And that's how it feels for me as well. I mean, I started in the field with Walters and Wolf, and on day one, I think one of my foremen told me, he said, hey, if you have an idea here, Walters and Wolf practices lean, they'll actually listen to it. So I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that meant at the time, but now I see the value, and I think all of our field employees do.
Jake, I have another question. Have you ever had any interface with your customers when they see the level of detail and thought that's gone into everything you're doing, that they look back, they stand back and say, you guys have your together?
Say,
they must look at you like you're amazing.
I think so. I mean, from the unit install plan, the JPS, that whole process. Speaking for my component, I work in pre-construction, and we definitely get complimented on the level of detail that we provide on that. So
wow, I'm blown away, Nick.
This is incredible, and you know it brings to mind one phrase that I use all the while, which is fail to prepare, prepare to fail. And you guys have prepared it ahead of time, so you're not going to fail, which is great.
So next, one of the kind of struggles not struggles, but hurdles we have is we are a union company. And like Nick said, we go concept to completion. So with that does come the field component where we've got to install the product. And using union labor, we kind of have some turnover. So just from project to project, we may get different guys that might not be up to speed. So Brandon here is going to show you our SOP binder, or our standard operating procedure. So take it away, Brandon.
Hey, Brandon.
All right. Hi. So, all right. So one of our major improvements we've made since starting this lean journey is this field instruction binder. Within this binder, we have all of our major tasks broken down with pictures and instructions for each step. We've also included a QR code. This QR code is a video of that task that employee can queue up at any time on their phone. With this binder, we're able to take a brand new apprentice or even maybe an experienced journeyman that hasn't performed this task in a while, show them this binder. They can spend a few minutes going over the steps, which will give them a better understanding of which tools and materials they'll be using. With these steps broken down, it gives us a better understanding of what our takt time will be for each task, even with that brand new apprentice. Every foreman has this binder. So with standardizing these processes, that same apprentice can go to job site and expect to have that same install process from the project before.
SOP binders have been a great improvement for us, and we do try to keep them digital as well. But you know, being in the field, we may not always have access to a good internet connection, so we try to keep the hard copies out here as well.
And how many crews do you have going at any one time? How many projects do you have going? I know when I was in Kazakhstan, we had 49 construction sites all over the country. How many construction sites are you guys working on at any given time?
20 to 30 ballpark, I'd say.
Okay. Wow.
Okay.
And about 900 people total, correct?
Yeah, that probably sounds right.
Yeah, so just so everyone understands the complexity of what's going on here. It's pretty intense.
It's very high complex. Yeah, absolutely.
The logistics of it can get tricky when you're dealing with that kind of number. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is my favorite of the 8 ways to eliminate, and that's unused employee genius. So Richard's going to queue up a video for you here, and this is a product of our employee genius. What this is a safety device that prevents our units from falling to the ground should our primary lifting source fail. So I'll kind of narrate it for you here as it comes up. So we use glorified suction cups to lift these units into place. And they do have the possibility of failing. So what we've developed is a restraint system to keep that unit from falling to the ground and hurting somebody should that primary lift fail. So you can see that unit, we had a simulated failure here. We turned the suction cups off to simulate that failure, and then that restraint system kicks in. So this was a product that came from the field. This is an employee genius component, and you can see the value of this is human lives. So really great to have our employees engaged and willing and excited to suggest these kind of things. And Walters and Wolf, as far as we know, is the first one to develop anything like this. And we've had equipment companies approach us to kind of develop it and rent it out. So we're looking forward to doing that and bringing safety kind of to the entire industry.
Wow, just fantastic.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
That was
man and Jake, great job.
Great job.
So that's kind of the conclusion of our segment here. We're thankful to be a part of this tour, and kind of hope you guys enjoyed the way that we apply lean here at Walters and Wolf. And with that, we'll turn it back over. We're looking forward to fielding some questions you guys may have had.
Okay, well, Jake and everybody else, I just want you to know it's literally one of the best tours we've ever done. I'm completely blown away by the quality, the understanding, the depth of training that you guys have all done. And my hat's off to you. And I want everyone to know who's watching too. This is a very important point. When we do these tours, we do pre-rehearsals over and over again to iron out all the details. And I saw this tour go down just seamlessly, everything, the transitions, the audio quality, everything was infinitely better than the rehearsals that we did because we practiced and we improved and we were diligent about making sure things went right. And Walters and Wolf, you guys did a phenomenal job. It's just incredible to see the improvement to where we are today, to what we've got. Great job. Absolutely. Really good. Okay, so I got a question before Ash gets into the team questions. If you think about construction and you think about all the different types of windows that you've got to make, obviously you want to try and match the pace of production with the pace of installation, because you don't want to have inventory sitting around. So how do you do that, Nick?
I'd say the first 5-6 years of applying the Toyota production system, the field could outpace the shop, at least by double, if not triple sometimes.
Wow.
Yeah. So there, we really focused on the shop. When we got focused on the shop, we realized that most of the waste that's in the shop is being pushed down from all of the predecessor processes. I think that's where the mini Kaizen really started to develop, trying to connect our processes and quit pushing all the waste down our value stream. So today, we used to have stacks and stacks of inventory in the yard of completed units, just so that the field wouldn't run out of units as their installation was going on. Today, it's down to, in some cases, almost the same takt, but we still aren't quite, matched between shop production and field installation. These guys in the field can, I bet they get it done amazingly fast.
Well, Nick, just so you know, Toyota, all the tier 1, tier 2, they have a couple days of inventory buffer for Toyota, so don't feel bad.
Always moving toward full flow intact, right?
Absolutely. Okay, Ash, do you want to ask the questions that have come from the viewers?
Yeah, terrific. What an inspiring tour, and great spark of inspiration to everybody who's attending. So I have 5 questions. The first one was from Juan. Juan, early on, Nick, as you were talking, you mentioned the realization that 100% of the things that you were doing were waste. Paul provided us one example of the equipment being at the wrong place at the wrong time, but Juan was just curious on what other wastes did you have prior to you embarking on this journey?
Yeah, maybe I exaggerated. 100% of the stuff we're doing this way. So 95%.
Close enough.
Okay. So, actually, it's been, like I said, we've been practicing this for a little over 10 years. So it's funny, we were just talking about this, we're looking at how much time, during the week we spend in the, supporting the Kaizen efforts, trying to remove obstacles, training, doing all those things, and it encompasses a majority of our weeks in the leadership team. And we never used to do any of that before. I remember I also mentioned in the beginning it's like a second-time job. In the beginning, it was like a second-time job. I think that all that waste that we were talking about is all of those improvements and all of the work we were doing on defects, the rework, dealing with problems, having over communicate with our customers, figure out what's going on. All that stuff kept happening over and over again, the same problems. So I think as we were working on improving our processes, all of that waste started to diminish and allowed us to work, replace it with more value add time. And we're still working on it. We still got lots of problems.
Oh yeah, don't we all? Well done.
Phenomenal. Thank you so much for that. Second question here is from Andres, and this was when, Michael, you were showing your portal with the Swisses loaded on there for project management. The question was, did you build the portal yourself?
Yeah, the portal that we have is a Walters portal.
What software did you use to do it? Just curious.
I have no idea.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a web-based kind of shareware thing.
Yeah, it's probably just standard HTML language.
Yeah, anybody can develop their own portals.
Right.
Okay.
Next one, Ash.
Wonderful, thank you. Next one is the format of your Swisses, the standard work instruction sheets that you showed. It looks very much like what we call a TWI, training within industry work instruction. Is TWI used in the shop? This one was from Brad Robertson.
Yeah, our own unique form of it, yes. I would say there's a lot of stuff that is synonymous to TWI. And even the standard work instruction sheet, we got the format that we got to use. We had no idea in the beginning what a standard even looked like. So, so we would do research. And I believe that form came from, might have come from Ford. In the auto industry, we were lucky enough to be invited to participate in the early part of our journey. We were able to participate in a Kaizen event with Valley in Las Vegas there, where they manufacture all the slot machines. And they had a person that was helping them from Ford. We worked for Ford many years, and they shared a lot of great stuff with us, and we utilized a lot of that. But the actual Swiss form is just an Excel sheet, and we just embed the resources and the how-to video links and
right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
There's 2 more questions to go. The next one up is from Andres, and this one is, do you have a morning meeting or a routine where there's a morning meeting at every site?
Brenda.
So every department has their own stand-ups, whether they're daily or for us, it's 2 times a week. And we talk about different problems. One of them is a planning meeting on Mondays, for example, where we plan out our week and talk about how the action items on our schedules are going to go. And then on Wednesday, we regroup and we talk about problems, and we have a member of our management team in there. So we will bring up problems and get help, bringing things downstream or bubbling them up whenever we do have problems, so that by Friday, in our Friday planning meeting, which is similar to a stand-up kind of, but it's like an hour-long meeting that we meet in the middle of the day. And we go through all of those things again, and we kind of talk about how things got resolved, if things made it down the week, and if anything didn't, why. So every department does have their own stand-up, but they're all formatted a little bit different, tailored to whatever department is.
Miranda, 2 questions. One, why is it stand-up, and what is the significance of your shirts?
Oh, wait, sorry. The first one was, why is it stand up?
Why are they stand-up meetings?
Oh, so we all basically just go stand up in front of a board. We used to do it in front of a board. Obviously the pandemic kind of got us virtually, but we've actually resumed a lot of our stand-ups to be in person. So it's really awesome because we literally go stand up in front of a board and talk about all the things that we have going on. And then
why not sit down? Why not sit down?
I don't know why we would sit
Get the
down.
blood flowing.
Get the blood flowing, get up and moving, get together. I think
Okay, good.
it's just to get together.
Okay, got it. Okay, with the shirts.
The shirt. So we have these shirts made. So the first thing we have on this shirt is the 8 waists. We have
Cool. Oh, I love them. Wow, those are edgy. Change good. That's the symbols for Kaizen. Yeah, excellent.
Excellent. So we have 3 more questions to go. The next one up is from Andres as well. After doing the initial training that you spoke about, how do you keep the training and sort of the theory top of mind, fresh of mind as the weeks unfold?
So as those daily stand-ups are happening, one of the improvements that we're doing is we're reviewing our oldest Swiss available. And the oldest Swiss gets highlighted. We go through it, see if it needs improvement. If it does, we get together. And we're always updating those.
Super smart.
We can sort it by date. It'll bring the oldest up to the top, and then we can go through that there.
That's like rotating the produce.
And then the PDCA cycle again, we're going to get that group forming, and we'll go line by line in our Swiss and try to identify where we can improve it.
And then as Pedro was mentioning too, like once a Swiss is updated, it gets rolled out in our weekly waterfall. So when you're having one of your daily huddles, if a Swiss has been updated that affects your department, you go through that Swiss in your daily huddle. You take a look at everything that changed, just so you have like the most current Swiss in the back of your mind.
Wow, awesome.
Wonderful. And the feedback from Andres is excellent answers. Thank you very much. And I echo that as well. So 2 more questions to go. Thank you so much. The question here is from Pankaj. How much time does the team dedicate to creating these Swisses? Do you track that?
It was funny when we first started practicing lean, there are a lot of people asking, well, how much time are you spending? How do you calculate the ROI? All that kind of stuff. And we're just like, full send, we believe that this is the path, and however much time it takes. I think anything you improve is gonna save you tenfold. All of the ridiculous amount of rework and waste that happens because you don't get it right the first time.
These are the laws of nature.
So would it be fair to say it's become like breathing now? It's become second nature where you don't even think about it. You just basically go and do it, right?
Yeah, I think tracking how much time we spend on improving would be a horrible form of waste.
Thank you.
Yeah, Nike, just do it, right?
Yeah. Last question, and this goes back to the new hire course that you were talking about early on. The lean course, is that full-time or a few hours a week? Do you optimize the trainer's time by having group sessions, or are they potentially individual sessions based on the individual and his or her hire date?
Okay, so the lean classes are just once a week for 1 hour, and they are in a group. So typically, as we hire people, we'll wait a little bit, and then it will be anywhere from like 5 to 10 people in that lean class. It's really awesome to start off with another group because you kind of start making improvements with other people as you grow in the company.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's all we had.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Ash, thank you. Nick and team, thank you so much. Don't go away. On behalf of AME, on behalf of Paul and the rest of the viewers, you did an awesome job. Thank you again.
brought to you by paulakers.net, where you'll find all Paul's books and lean resources for free, including the new 2-second lean play app, like Audible, but free. To listen to Lean is Lean on the 2-second lean play app at paulakers.net.